Hey kids, Dad here. It is Monday, July 6th, 2026. Wish I could say every day was a good day, but today sucks. Today is a hard one. Today my health meter, my hearts are still strong, still full for you guys. My body armor took a massive shot last night. Took a massive hit last night. It's got me feeling sick in my stomach today. At Boy, I'm probably gonna regret this video, whatever I say. This is raw. This is very raw. But I think there's value in you kids knowing and hearing and seeing that it's okay to be raw sometimes. So, as you kids know, I had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. I had an unbelievable weekend. Very memorable weekend. Go back to yesterday's video, July 5th. I talk a little bit about the spiritual experience I had over the weekend. And last night at about 10:30, I'm just laying down for bed, having just said my prayers. I spent the evening attending a meeting, support group meeting, and then I got to jump on a phone call and walk through this magical book about recovery and the 12 steps. Got to jump into that with a newcomer, a young guy. Go grab a book study for an hour. Then at about 10:30, it occurs to me that one of the residents here, who is typically on a meeting, greeting people, doing some service work, he wasn't there, which is very odd. So I went and knocked on his door to check on him, asked if he's doing okay, and unfortunately he wasn't. He was not okay. He was very emotional, and ultimately he had consumed some edibles, basically the kinds of things you get at what they call a smoke shop. Nowadays in Minnesota, they sell drugs in those places. And this kid bought something in the form of a candy bar that had drugs in it, and he ate it, and his brain was all not normal as a result. And this is a guy who I'd gotten very close with. He's a guy who I probably talked to you kids about a little bit before. He's a guy who'd been here for about 4 months, doing almost everything right. The one thing he wasn't doing was what we call a fourth step. There's 12 steps in this program. He had camped out in the fourth step because it was hard and it was scary. And he kept delaying it, kept finding everything else to do besides that fourth step. He's doing a lot of good things, doing a lot of volunteer work, being of service, helping run meetings for people in recovery, reading, doing a lot of spiritual efforts. But that fourth step, which is where we look at ourselves, the things we're afraid of, the things we're angry about, and the people we've harmed, that was something that he hadn't been able to complete for whatever reason. And as a result, he had gone out yesterday with another resident, a new resident, and that new resident who just showed up on Friday took this kid right down the wrong path. Took him into a smoke shop, said, "Yeah, go ahead and get this. They're fun." And the kid said, "Well, I don't think that's." The guy said, "No, don't worry. They can't detect it on drug tests. It just shows up as food poisoning." Kids, if you're ever dealing with an alcoholic or an addict, and they tell you something. They just showed up 3 days ago. They're just starting their recovery. Don't take their advice. They're not a good source of counsel. I know that I don't look to a guy who's been just shows up for advice on what kind of products to consume, which ones are safe, which ones are toxic, which ones are drugs. I look to the guys who've been living a spiritual life, sober life for 30 years, with 50 years. Those are the guys I talk to. Those are the guys I hang out with. When I go out and socialize, I'm working with 1 to 2 people. I'm hanging out with a guy like my friend Rob, who has 52 years sobriety. He knows how to live this life. I'm having a cigar with him. I don't smoke the cigar, but he sure has cigars. I call him, I talk to him, because I want to know how he does it. I want to learn from him. The other thing I'm doing is I'm hanging out like I did on the 4th of July with a couple of guys who are just starting to learn this thing, and I'm teaching them. So I'm either teaching somebody else or I'm learning from somebody who has an immense amount of time in this program. I'm not learning and taking advice from the guys who just showed up here and have 3 days. But my friend did last night. And this one hurts. This one hurts a lot. So now what happens is I had to call the sheriffs last night. The other resident, not the one who's my friend, the guy who just showed up, he was so messed up he couldn't even stand up. He was falling down the stairs. He'd be standing in the hallway and suddenly just collapse. He couldn't talk. He'd gotten that messed up off edibles that you can buy at a smoke shop. So sheriffs came, told both of them, can't sleep here tonight. Bravo Zulu House is a sober house. Sober means no drugs or alcohol. No mind-altering substances unless they're prescribed by a doctor. And in that case, you're only to take them exactly as the doctor says. But yet again, it's a guy who comes in, does things right for about 3 months, starts smiling, starts laughing, gets some life back in his eyes. Starts thinking, oh, I'm cured, I'm better. I don't need to do everything that's suggested to me. And he's afraid, stubborn, proud, whatever it is, gets his priorities mixed up. Doesn't put his sobriety and God first. He puts hanging out with an old Marine buddy first. As a result, sheriffs came last night, removed these guys from the property. They got to go spend the night in a hotel. So now my friend, this kid I really cared for, got to see him get all these wonderful gifts back in his life. Guy I was cheering for. The guy who gave me hope every day that maybe I'm not a unicorn. Maybe other guys can get this too, change their lives too. Now he's got a big decision to make. He's got to decide, is he going to go to a treatment center for a couple of weeks, then come back here and get back on the horse, get back up, and keep trying to march forward? Or is he going to throw in the towel and say, I'm a failure, I can't do anything right, poor me, poor me, poor me, and end up probably dead within a year? So all I can do is pray. I prayed for him last night, prayed again this morning, praying that this guy, he had the honesty last night to admit what he had done. I'm praying that he has the willingness to do whatever it takes to get back on track, even if that means having to go to a treatment center for a couple of weeks. So, get to see you kids in 2 days. I promise I'll be my usual smiling, laughing, playful dad when I do. But this is the kind of stuff that I see all too often down here. Every time I start really caring for a guy, they seem to remind me of how important it is that I keep my program first. I keep my priority one being God and sobriety. They're one and one to me. Because anything I put before that, I will lose. So, I love you kids. Thanks for letting me share some heavy heart, sick stomach with you today. Just know I'll keep marching through it. I'll be okay. But prayers for my friend. Love you, kids. We'll talk soon.